Oh, it's working. We're working. We're back. It's been a while. I wasn't sure if I turned the recorder on.
Put enough coal on the old fire.
to put enough coins in. Yeah, we're going again. Yeah, 2025. Here we go.
Yeah. Not done one of these for a while, have we? The old podcast.
Casting our pods once again.
It has been a while. But things got a bit crazy, didn't they? Towards the end of last year, it was all action stations with like the album. Obviously, they're recording the album, releasing the bloody album, and then all them weekends away, and then the tour, and we just didn't have bloody time to do it, man. Much as we enjoy it.
It was a case of like something has to give, and unfortunately, our beloved podcast listeners were those to suffer. All 12 of you.
All 12 of you. Yeah. Put it to bed for a while, didn't we? But we're back. We had no intention of giving it up. We just had to put it on the old proverbial back burner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got to be honest. Like when it comes to podcasts and things, I really do enjoy doing them when we're doing them. But at the end of the day, I'm sounding like a bloody football manager here. At the end of the day, everything happens at the end of the day, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Oh well.
Saturday dinner time.
I went to bed at the end of the day, and no, we're a band. You know what I mean? We're about music and we're about playing gigs and writing songs and recording songs and things. You know,
being
it's
crazy.
It's hard to see ourselves as like podcasters. It's not like you get these. Joe Rogan's not like knocking albums out. On the side, is he?
Exactly. Well, yeah.
I mean, fair enough. He's.
We just do this for a gig laugh, don't we?
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what my point is, but I'm just justifying our laziness.
Yeah. But it's good crack and I like it. Some people seem to like it, and you know what? It's amazing how many people at gigs and that come up and say, "Oh, I love your podcast. Again, You're doing it again." So why not? We can't get rid of it, can we? So we've got to keep going. We've made a rod for our own back, so to speak.
What we are going to do a bit differently, though, they're going to happen less frequently. They're not going to be weekly. They're probably going to be monthly, but of a longer format. So rather than being 20 minutes, half an hour long, they're going to be an hour long, or thereabouts. Well, I bloody said it now, so they're going to have to. This is going to have to last an hour, isn't it?
Oh, fuck's sake!
No, you know what I mean. Like they're just going to be a bit longer, a bit more of an
in-depth, chat, maybe
in-depth dive.
A few more sides to it. Yeah, we're going to deal with some questions, some topics, and a bit of Patreon stuff, and a bit of this, and a little bit of that.
Just do it sort of a bit of a higher quality, less frequently.
We hope.
Or the same old shit, just less frequently.
Yeah.
More like.
Yeah.
But right, yeah. So we've been quite busy over the end of last year.
Yeah.
Got a bit of open road ahead of us now. So, podcast away.
Yeah.
But what's
we're gonna talk today? I think we did. Where did this topic came up yesterday? The other day
I know what it was.
We did the waffle, didn't we? On
it was John Sykes.
John Sykes, that's
guitarist.
Right. God rest his soul.
White Snake and Thin Lizzy fame.
Blackpool fame.
Yeah, I can't believe that. Blackpool.
Is he from Blackpool?
His
dad lives in Blackpool.
I know his dad lives in Blackpool. Yeah, and has a studio there. But John Sykes passed away a few days ago. Like legendary guitarist, amazing. And we were talking about this, and he fronted Thin Lizzy for a while. Well, this is it, I knew
he was in Thin Lizzy, but I didn't know that.
This is like 20 years after Phil Lynott passed away, So this is like 2000s.
Did he play any part in Thin Lizzy?
Originally, yeah.
Originally, he did, didn't he?
Well, in the 80s, I think the last two albums with John Sykes, Thunder and Lightning, and I can't remember the other one. But it's like Cold Sweat and all that.
Right, yeah, I thought so. I thought my memory served me correct there. I'm sure I thought he was a guitar player for a while, yeah.
Yeah, and he, in the 2000s, sang and played guitar in like an reincarnated Thin Lizzy. With Brian Downey was on the drums as well, so it did have other, Yeah,
it's odd, isn't it? I always found Thin Lizzy odd how the original, I suppose the main members have come and gone over the years and never really managed to be in this band and it's at the same time again, i.e. Scott Gorham and Brian Downey, were they ever they at the same time again after Phil Lynott died?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know.
There's a lot of members in and out of that band, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
It's been after Phil Lynott died, especially.
Well, but this is it anyway. But the topic of conversation was like, when does a band stop becoming a band? How many members, or indeed, any members at all? If when does a band, like, when people start saying, well, it's not really Thin Lizzy, is it?
Yeah. What does? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Does it depend on the importance of certain people in the band? You look at Thin Lizzy. It's a great example. The caliber of band members that band has had through its doors over the years is staggering, and also it amazes me. They're one of the few bands that people have remained very, very fond of, regardless of what. Apart from, I say Phil Lynott was Thin Lizzy, I'd say mostly, wasn't he? But guitar players, they've come and gone. It's such a high caliber, and people still speak of each incarnation with great fondness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like
it did. There was quite a revolving door.
Be Gary Moore or John Sykes or You're the Man, Scottish,
Snowy White,
Scottish guy.
Midjaw.
No, he's Irish, wasn't he?
Oh,
was he Scottish? Or was he Scottish? I don't know.
He
was the guy. He was the guy that busted his hand up.
Busted his hand up
before they went on the American tour.
I don't know.
What's he bloody called? He was into Thin Lizzy guitar player.
I don't know.
Everybody screaming at the camera. He got in a fight, didn't he? Did he get in a fight in a chip shop? And he punched someone and put his hand through the glass window.
Sounds Scottish.
The glass door, didn't he? Right on the eve of the American
you've told
tour.
Me this story. Yeah, I remember this story. No,
I can't remember his name.
No.
Well, it's gone. I can see his face.
The thing is, like, picked a bad example with Thin Lizzy, actually, because, like, I'm not massive. I like him, but I'm not I sort of got more knowledge over other bands of the era, classic rock bands. Thin Lizzy, I'm a bit sketchy on the.
You're a
details.
UFO man.
UFO, Rainbow,
which is another.
Well, exactly. This
another
is
great example, isn't it?
Well, so this is it. Like,
I do apologise. I'm not being rude here, but this is going to drive me up the frigging wall.
Robinson.
No, Brian Robson. Brian Robinson.
Is it Robinson?
Brian Robertson?
I knew it was a
Brian Robertson.
I knew it was a Robbie Robson.
Wow,
Robertson.
Phil Lynott, Gary Moore, John Sykes, Scott Gorham, Brian Robertson, Midge Ure, Eric Bell, Brian Downey, Snowy White, Tommy Aldridge, Tom Hamilton, Ricky Warwick, Darren Wharton, Vivian Campbell, Troy Sanders, Richard Forters, Marco Mendoza, Damo Johnson, Scott Travis.
Yeah, we're into the Black Star Riders territory.
Yeah,
aren't we?
that's what comes up on Google when you type in Thin Lizzy band member.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, but the caliber there is staggering, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they're like the musicians. Your favourite band's favourite band, aren't they? Thin Lizzy.
They are, yeah.
They're like that kind of.
And I think as long as I think for myself, I think the songs sit miles above who's playing them. So as long as the songs are being played, you don't care who's playing them in a way, because whether you're do you know what I mean? Their songs just seem to be people love them, don't they?
Yeah, well,
he wrote some classics.
Well, that's it. I mean, I'm sure there's situations where band members, Phil Lynott, it's not like they fell out. The guy died, and it's, to use another massive example, Brian Johnson and Bon Scott, there's still people now that, AC/DC ended when Bon died. You know.
Yeah. I don't. I've never got that.
But
never. That's that. Yeah.
It's like they didn't fall out and go separate ways, because then you can kind of see. Well, I kind of get that argument a bit more, because there's like a loyalty thing. But if the person's no longer with us,
Marillion.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Who was that?
Marillion's another one.
Well, we'll come to that.
Well,
because that's interesting.
Well, it's crazy, and.
But yeah, so somebody died. Yeah, I don't get it either.
What else? What else can you do?
Well, it was a similar thing when Rick Parfitt died, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When the original lineup parted ways, there was a rift there, wasn't it, with the fans when they got the other guys in, and then the other guys have been a part of Status Quo a lot longer than the original members of Status Quo ever were, and then Rick died, and then again it was like, this is not really Status Quo anymore, is it? It's like, well, I don't know. I don't know really. Francis Rossi's a pretty essential piece of the jigsaw, really, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and it's like that is what he does. What's he going to do? Stop and become a mechanic?
Well, yeah, just because you lot don't like it. Yeah. And I've said before as well. I mean, the guy's giving people jobs. There is crew there. You knock it on the head because the fans don't think it's the right thing to do anymore. Well, that's up to you to not go and watch them, innit, or listen to the music.
Yeah.
Just don't whinge and whine about it. Just get over it.
Vote with your feet.
Listen to something else, But you got to remember the guys giving people jobs. Crew, all that crew, they're out of work, aren't they?
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember talking to the crew about that briefly. It was like because like the crew was like had been status quo. I've been with them for years and years. They're almost like members of the band.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of other more modern examples. For example, Oasis.
Oasis. Here we go. Look, everyone can see all the numbers. It's like no likey, no lighty, boo 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 boo. Everyone's switching off now. He said the dreaded O word.
Well,
but it's true. It's true.
Maybe it matters less in maybe classic rock and rock bands. People have more of a loyalty and they care more about the members. On the whole, is that a fair kind of like? I know it's a sweeping statement, but I think on the overview, looking at it from a sort of wider perspective, I think classic rock fans in particular, on the whole, are more likely going to tell you what members played in what band and when, than fans of more modern bands, or pop bands,
or even country bands where band members come and go all the time, and it's mainly about just a single person at the front, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, it's session work a lot of country. I'm a big fan of Brad Paisley, big country guy, and it wasn't until his like 8th album, I think, that he insisted that the next album he did, he wanted his live band to come and record it.
Right.
Before that, the record label would sort out session players to come and play.
So he seems to have been the way in the day, doesn't it? That country and back in the sort of rock and roll era with Elvis and all that. They were all session guys, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was very kind of traditional, But it's another podcast entirely. But session musicians are, next level kind of
next level talent. But often you read about in stories and hear about in historical documentaries about bands. Often get shafted.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? They don't get the rights and they don't get the plaudits and they don't get the money or the credit. Yet they are the ones that are the real talent,
Well, it's that's
masters of their craft.
That's the job, isn't it? To just be quick and to just not to almost kind of be invisible. To be just like, you do your job. I don't really care about there's no room for ego in that at all.
No.
Anyway, but well, you mentioned like so when a band member dies and the band carries on, that's one thing. But then when there's a fallout, and the sort of band splits into two camps, that gets a bit trickier, doesn't it? Because then you have like legal things with the name and all that.
Yeah, it gets a bit messy, doesn't it?
And it does get a bit
Queen's
messy.
Ryker, I think they had a big. There was a big.
Jeff
debate.
Tate, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Skid Row.
Rat, they had a big one, didn't they? Did this maybe Skid Row? Yeah. But yeah, no, that's very messy, isn't it? It's very messy. Fans don't want. I don't think fans want to hear about that. It's inevitable that you hear about it because you're so invested in bands and you do hear about these things when you follow bands. But to me, it just sounds like, it takes away the. You're into a band for a bit of the magic, don't you? As corny as it is, it takes away the sort of personality of the band and them. You just think, really, guys.
It makes it very mundane
sterile
and boring, doesn't it? Like
does,
when you hear about these things.
Yeah, these court battles, and then you see them on telly, like or whatever, going into court with the suits on, standing in the dock. It's like, oof.
But the name sells, though. This is why, I'm pretty sure there are bands out there, or have been bands out there, that are playing under the name that sells the tickets, when really they'd probably rather be somewhere else. Thin Lizzy, a case in question, when in one of their later incarnations with Ricky Warwick singing and Marco Mendoza and what's it called, other American fella, can't remember, but they changed their name from Thin Lizzy to Black Star Riders.
Yeah,
that's a ballsy move. That you're basically giving up. Well, no, Black Star Riders are a fantastic band in their own right. I'm giving them credit for doing that,
Well, it worked,
but it was a ballsy move.
It was a ballsy move. Well, they could quite easily have clung to the coattails of the Thin Lizzy name and sailed that ship off into the horizon, but they didn't. They thought, no, let's do our own thing, and away they went. I mean,
that's pretty unheard of, And then you have other examples of bands that have gone two ways. I mean, look at the Choir Boys more recently. You know.
Well, yeah.
And but they're now the
Black Eyed Sons.
Black Eyed Sons, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's again, they've gone that way. They've almost like made that decision. It's
to draw a line under it.
Yeah.
If we're going to make the leap and start, I mean, they're talented blokes. They write great music. They've been in the industry for a long time, so I think they've got everything they need on their side. You know, and I hope they do really well. They're great guys. We've did some shows with them, haven't we? You know, with Griff and all that. Good lads, aren't they?
Yeah, hard-working guys.
Yeah, well, they are, aren't they? Well, it's their job, isn't it? And they've been doing it for a long time, so they have to make it work, and they do make it work.
Hey everyone, just want to say a big thank you for watching, and if you want to check out our Patreon page, it's over at patreon.com/Massive Wagons. Over there we've got lots of cool stuff going on. We've got early access on merch, lots of other online content, loads of videos, guitar lessons, and also private gigs, including the Patreon Bash. Check it out.
I was thinking about, does it depend on the band member? A character plays a massive part, doesn't it? Who are the big characters in the band?
Yeah.
You know, if somebody's a big character, does it matter what instrument they play? If they're a big character and they leave, then are they missed as much as if they are not a character, even if they're playing or their part in the band isn't as essential as another person in the band. Do you know what I mean? For instance, if I know he died and he left, but they knocked it on the head. But what about when Neil Peart had left Rush?
Yeah.
He's not the front man, and he's not the guy you would think. To anyone who doesn't know anything about Rush, you know, if the singer left, 9 times out of 10, it's
the singer,
game over for the band, isn't it? Really,
really,
not always, but if Neil Peart had left the Rush. Or are they? They're a real freak of nature. That band.
That's a weird one because like I've encountered them online.
Any one of those members could have left really, and it would have been a catastrophic.
Oh yeah, well it wouldn't. I'm
not just saying him, but him being
I know what you mean.
Being the drummer and the casting, not dissing drummers, but
digging.
You know. Drummers are ass.
No, I know exactly what you mean. But
he's the guy at the back, isn't he?
There are people out there that he didn't play on the first album, and the first Rush album the drummer was a guy called John Rutsey,
right?
And it's not what Rush sort of became known as. You know, they were basically that first album. I'm not into it really. It's very Zeppelin. It's like a sort of hooey Zeppelin kind of real straight out ballsy rock.
Yeah, I've heard a bit of it.
No proggy, no Bytor and the snow and the Snow Dog kind of epics. But there are still people that say, "Oh, I only like that first album."
Really?
Yeah. So, which is just mental to me. It's like that's like 5, not even 5% of their career, and you just sort of go, "Well, that was it. Rush ended for me with
the day Neil Peart arrived."
Well, which is, it's mental. But definitely characters. Like that's a big thing. I think what happens most often is I think it's an ego thing. You know, look at. I'm not saying it was an ego thing, obviously, but Michael Schenker when he left UFO is a massive character. But I don't think for a second he would have ever, considered taking the name UFO with him. You know.
Well, the origins of UFO, like who started the band? Do you know? Like
Pete Way, Phil Mogg, and I think Bernie Marsden was actually involved in the very early days.
Right. So did Schenker come along?
Yeah, pretty early on though.
Yeah.
It was on all. Very early on, and so the classic UFO lineup of Andy Parker, Paul Raymond, Michael Schenker, Pete Way, Phil Mogg, So basically, when Schenker left, I don't think for a second he'd have ever gone to consider, creating Michael Schenker's UFO or anything that. And he started MSG, like the Michael Schenker group. Maybe that's because of it. He was a name by that point, so it's almost like, well, why, a
classy guy,
suck up to be.
Yeah, well, I think so. To not want. He could have dragged the whole thing through the mud.
Yeah,
couldn't he? Really, but he didn't. He walked out and went. Well, for whatever reason, I don't know, but and started his own thing, like you say, because he's a touch of class in it. Really, he has the talent. He was a name, like you say, and to be honest, it left the band, and it has all ever since they knocked it on the head. They have that. There's been that with them, haven't there? The whole Schenker.
Yeah.
Everybody versus everybody else in UFO, really, isn't it?
It did get a little, turbulent.
Every replacement. Now, who was what was he called? What was the last one?
Chapman. Vinnie Moore.
Vinnie Moore. Yeah, we've seen him. I remember seeing him at Hard Rock Hell and being blown away. Like it was the last time I saw them. I don't know what year it was.
Yeah, they were very, very good.
Fantastic.
Seen them a lot with that later lineup. Saw them once with Jason Bonham on drums as well.
Did you really?
That was good.
Oh, wow.
And then Andy Parker came back. But yeah, they're just a fantastic group. And like you said, it's about the songs.
Again, they're another one. Their songs, they're just magical, aren't they?
But that is an example though, where I don't think I could listen to anyone but Phil Mogg sing them.
No.
So
now that's another angle, isn't it? The voice.
Yeah.
The voice, I think his tone is just so unique, isn't it?
Head over to the website and check out the shop immediately, where all this wonderful stuff is for sale. Woo! Woo! Emporium of Magic.
Right, a couple of questions for you. Okay, here's one from Ben Powell, legendary Patreon.
Steam train enthusiast.
I believe he is, yeah.
He is, yeah.
What do you think of cover versions? What are your hits and shits for songs that have been covered? What, if any, songs would you really like to cover?
Oh, cover songs.
We've been asked this a few times, haven't we? But
we covered it the other night, actually, briefly, didn't we? I think talking, when we did, the same thing applies, we did a live stream the other night, we talked about acoustic songs, and we were, and what makes them interesting is making it your own. I think, innit? Putting your own stamp on it. I think if you're trying to blatantly copy... I mean, if you're playing in a pub and that, and you're getting paid money, and that's what you do for a job, then yeah, you get the sound, you get, you go for you go to get as near as you can because that's what people want to see. But if you're choosing
to record a cover version,
you're a band putting your own music out there and you want to do a cover, I think it's braver and more interesting to try and make it your own, isn't it? Really?
Absolutely. I'd probably say out of recent times the best was probably the Disturbed cover of the Simon and Garfunkel, Sound of Silence.
Oh yeah, that was massive, that wasn't it?
Which was
massive,
very, very different, obviously. But then again, the original was 60s, was it? That. So
yeah. You let me like that for.
But no, I honestly wasn't looking at you like that. But
I was just waiting for that joke.
I think Paul Simon, who wrote it, has since said it's their song now. It's like he was very, very complimentary of their thing, but a lot of purists, it's like a classic, isn't it?
An untouched song.
Yeah, so it's like don't touch that.
Yeah, but then I think they timed it just right because let's face it, it's done the song a world of good because it's getting to that time now where the people, the purists that are into it, I don't know, maybe they're dropping off, you know what I mean? I sound like a wanker or anything, but they're dropping dead, aren't they?
Yeah.
And the song is fading into obscurity, which is what happens. I mean, which is an interesting topic I was going to bring up for another podcast, is looking at like about gateway rock bands and the iconic bands, when do they start to sort of drop off a bit, which is it's another topic altogether. But yeah, I think the cover has brought it well back into the sort of.
Well, it would have given the bank account a nice healthy dose of cash injection.
It would.
Anyway.
I don't even know if Art Garfunkel is still alive. Is Art Garfunkel still alive?
You don't seem to hear much from him. Well, if
you have an Instagram page,
if he's dead, then that's why. But I actually don't know.
I'll do it, won't it?
We didn't fact check this. But
no, I don't know.
So that's one I think of a cover done really, really well, and it paid dividends.
Yeah, there are some great covers off the top of my head. Bloody hell, fire. I like Slade do a few good covers. They do Darling Be Home Soon off Slade Alive. I don't think they ever recorded it. I've never heard another version of it.
Volbeat do a few good covers, a few obscure like Dusty Springfield songs. I Only Want to Be With You and Make Him Believe and all that. That's a interesting spin on obviously an older, different genre altogether.
I tell you a great one I heard recently. Now my brain's going. Was it Fall Out Boy? Fall Out Boy did what's this? Da, 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 da. There was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire.
Oh, Billy Joel, is it?
Is it Billy Joel? I don't know. I can't remember who sung it. But they did that. But they changed all of the words to modern references.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
Like to things about, because obviously that song goes on about Buddy Holly Da Da and all that, all the old stuff around at the time. It was whatever. And now
Billy Joel.
they changed it to all the modern. No, that's clever. I like that. I thought that was mint. Like, you know, they gave it they sounded like them doing it as well, which is good.
Yeah,
I don't mind a cover if it's done well.
Exactly.
I think it can be. It can be awful. Don't get me wrong.
It's funny how some cover versions can be the like defining song of a band. You know, which is like, I imagine it must stick in a band's craw a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, Status Quo. I mean, "Rocking All Over the World" wasn't their song, but that's by some margin the most top, played song on Spotify. And Quiet Riot, they covered a couple of Slade songs.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know they were very reluctant to do that, and they did it, and it blasted them into the stratosphere. I mean, they're a great band, but I think they did resent that a little bit. That
that was what they were known for.
Known for the covers, but
it took me a long time to realise, because I'm not really interested. Is Kiss? What's it?
Rust Ballad.
Rust Ballad. Yeah, that's not their song, was it?
God Gave Rock and Roll to
God
You.
Gave Rock and Roll to You. Yeah, that's not theirs, is it?
Yeah.
I put a few quid in old Russ's pocket.
Yeah,
a few more quid.
Well, yeah, he couldn't do wrong.
I'll tell you another interesting band, I think, that do some great covers, Ghost.
Yeah, what?
Did they do a cover of an Iron Maiden song? They did, bloody hellfire, what else did they do? They recently, weren't they? Came out in the last couple of years. But yeah, they do some great covers. Some great covers. Like they do an 80s, what was the 80s like? Is it, Tears for Fears? Somebody, bloody hell, he was. I can't remember. Brilliant. I'll check them out.
Yeah,
Ghost covers that Ghost did.
Yeah, to be honest, everything Ghost do they've got the golden touch at the minute, haven't they?
It's his voice. Brilliant.
Can't do wrong. Another question.
Well, yeah, if you have any suggestions, you want to hear us cover anything, I'd be interested to read them. I'm not saying we'll do them, but if you think there's something that we might, but it'd have to be different. Like we've had this talk before a few times and written down.
Don't go writing AC/DC songs.
We don't want to hear us play Slade or any of that. Something interesting. Yeah, because we've got our ideas on it. I'd like to hear, what you think we'd be good.
We've done a fair lot of covers over the year, and so our origins are as a cover band.
Yeah, originally.
And so that's basically all we did, and then we sort of slowly snuck in more and more of our own songs at gigs. But yeah, we've resurrected a few of those covers every now and again, just for shits and gigs.
Shits and gigs.
Right, this one's from Russell Bills, the Bilston Bomber.
The Bilston Bomber.
I never used to like. Oh no, hang on a minute. The question is actually a question for Alex, but I do know his opinion on this.
Okay.
Do drum solos belong in live shows?
I can answer that.
Personally, not. Bang another tune out.
Next question.
So even though it's for Alex and Alex isn't here, I know his opinion on this, and it's a resounding no, they don't. Yeah, he's and to be honest, it really depends, doesn't it? Little tasteful kind of minute, maybe 2 minute, things.
If you're going to go and watch Rush, you want to see a drum solo. If you're going to go and watch Phil Rudd, you don't want a drum solo. Yeah. That's as simple as it gets, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's how it is, isn't it?
But I imagine Phil Rudd would, again, he'd probably have the same opinion.
He would. Yeah. He would, exactly. Yeah. He'd be like, no.
It's really about the band. But even then, even bands I'm one of the world's biggest Rush fans. I love Rush. I don't, that wasn't the highlight of the gig for me. I wasn't like, oh, it's the drum solo coming up, and they were. That was a drum solo. That was,
that's
was
for
10
you
minutes.
though. That's maybe not something that excites you, but it's nice to see, isn't it?
It
it's
is.
like I have. It's like tick. I've seen him play it now.
It is, amazing, and it's a little different as well because it's a whole piece to like a track as well. So it's not just him. There's like there's like video accompaniment, and then it'll be like some big band music playing, and he's playing along to that. That's cool.
That's interesting. You're seeing the guy in his rawest.
Yeah,
it's nice for a huge fan to see that, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's funny just looking around the arena and just watching like all these old men going like
drumming.
Honestly, it's so funny.
But if you feel when they're doing it and it's obvious they're shoring up the set, it's like let's put a drum solo in. Fuck, get a crowbar out.
I've seen a few bands over the years of an age, shall we say, and it's clearly just an excuse so that the singer can go and get it changed or have a cack or something. I don't know.
Yeah. To be honest, for me, any instrument really. It's. I mean, I can handle. Alex did a little bit of a drum solo. Yeah, at the beginning of Nails, it was about 25, 30 seconds. It was like a drum intro.
Didn't he?
And it was brilliant. But that was nice. It was like 30 seconds. It was just an extended drum intro, and that was it.
I can't remember what he did.
It was on. Yeah, I can remember it, but I'm not going.
It went like this.
Yeah. It was good. It was really good. I mean, I don't mind a little bit of a guitar or shred here and there, but yeah, we're not having even when Angus gets the 5-minute guitar solo out, it's like, fuck me, come on.
All this running to one side of the stage, cupping his ear and running to the other, taking his pants off. Yeah, I'm not honestly like gonna give you a peek behind the wizard's curtain here, so to speak.
It's a different podcast altogether, isn't it?
You know, that for most bands is just an excuse to rinse a bit of time.
Yeah,
you know, if they've got a 2-hour show to fill, and I don't blame them. You know, that's, and if they can eke out 5 minutes here with a drum solo, 10 minutes there with guitarist taking his pants off or whatever. That's generally what it's about. It's part of the show. And you know what? If you're into a band, like, people want to see that. It's become a bit of an institution, and it with Angus Young. You know, when he comes and does the strip tease and all that. It's part of it. Yeah, it's part of the pantomime. But yeah, I do draw the line at a bass solo though.
Fucking hell,
seen a couple of bands do that, and
Jesus,
that is
you're really
that is
bottom of the shit, isn't it?
That's not good. That's not good. You know, but again, it doesn't matter. It's not a bass solo. It's not a bass ability. It's just an obvious. It's just an obvious look at.
It's like the. I can understand. You know, if you're going to you got a NAM or you got to watch a guitar tutorial or watch
you weren't there, man.
You weren't there, man. Not that NAM. It's a different kind of NAM. You know, in America, and you go and watch some of these funk players, and you watch a bit of that when there's no other band and they're on a stand or they're doing a seminar. Amazing, but I don't want to watch it. I don't want to boom, 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 boom. Yeah, fuck Christ on a bike. No.
Yeah.
Sit down.
So basically, no.
No is the answer. We could have saved 5 minutes, couldn't we? Just said no.
Maybe, not being there and looking at everything retrospectively, you don't understand the kind of how much of a betrayal, it might have been if they carried on with another singer. Like Van Halen, I'm sure if someone said in 1984, in a year's time, Van Halen, Sammy Hagar's going to be singing for Van Halen. Yeah, exactly. I bet you would have got that reaction. Like, what? It can't be Van Halen without Dave Lee Roth. It just can't be.
And it often means, and it obviously has a much bigger impact on the people that were invested in the band at the time. Because I like Van Halen, I think they're amazing, but I can totally appreciate the two sides of the coin. I don't give a shit who sings.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the Lee Roth stuff, and I like the Sammy Hagar stuff. I think they're both fantastic because I'm not invested in.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm the same.
In them at the time.
I'm completely the same. I love both. Lots of
I do with Schenker and Tonka Chapman.
Yeah.
I think they're both amazing.
But I could kind of understand it if people were there and they were sort of an age at the time and they went through this change. Van Halen were their favourite band. They've got a big Dave Lee Roth tattoo or something.
I get that.
And then all of a sudden it's different, and they've grown up and carried these emotions with them, and they look back and go, oh no, I was gutted when
Yeah.
But then there's people like younger people who are like us are kind of looking back retrospectively and still have that kind of, oh no, Van Halen is Dave Lee Roth all day long. I don't understand that. It's like, why dismiss? What emotional connection have you got to this?
Yeah, to that era.
It's just music at this point. It's just enjoy it. If you don't like the sound, well, I'd question it. I'd question that because I think Van Hagar is
fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
I don't know how anyone could not like that. That's just incredible.
I think some people just like being stubborn, and I just think they do. I just think people like to shout and bawl for no reason, stuff that makes no sense sometimes. Because I can't see reasoning behind it sometimes.
Yeah. But another example, we saw Rainbow at Stone Free Festival in 2016, I think it was. It was at the O2 Arena in London.
I was mortified.
I
had to go to a flipping wedding.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
I had to leave.
You had to leave, yeah. In Newcastle.
Fucking London. Yeah. Jesus Christ, what a drive that was.
We stayed and watched Rainbow. Ronnie Romero, and I couldn't even tell you the other three that were in the band. I think it was Blackmore's Night, which is his
medieval side.
Yeah, he's
side gig.
Minstrel kind of business. Who I've been to see as well. I've been to see them a couple of times. I enjoy it, but this was Rainbow you were coming to see.
Yeah.
When really it was Blackmore's Night playing what probably played more Deep Purple songs as well than Rainbow.
Did he?
Yeah, played loads of Deep Purple.
Now you see that's a band that that's a band that talk about incarnations. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
but back in the 70s, obviously we're going to have all the jokes now. I was born in 79. I didn't experience the 70s, but looking back, before anyone makes that joke, it seemed to be that the old rotating door policy on some of these bands seemed to be like Rainbow. It's just like it was like accepted a little bit, was it? I don't know. It seemed to be the norm. I mean, I remember watching a documentary years ago. I can't remember what it's called. I'd had it on video. I taped it off telly, and it's all about the White Snake, Deep Purple tree, if you like.
Well, it's massive, that.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's just like staggering.
Yeah, I
think
was
in and out, and the different singers and drummers.
I think Black Sabbath come in at that as well. That's probably, I think the Black Sabbath one's worse. The amount of members they had post Dio, through the 80s, it was just crazy.
Do you think it's more difficult to accept a band changing a band member for whatever reason, whether they've left or they've died, like AC/DC, when the rest of the band is relatively original, than if a band has gone through regularly, like Deep Purple and Rainbow, where there's he'd be here for a couple of years and then he'd be here for a couple of years, and people just get used to the fucking fact that nobody's sticking around. It seems to hurt more when it's...
Yeah, well, Rainbow wasn't too bad. I mean, and it always was Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, and he was...
Yeah, well, again,
he was basically, like, I think that was his setup. It was like, he's just going to pick the musicians for every album and then embark on a new project. The first few albums, I think, were pretty consistent, other than the keyboard player. And then
did he do three Dio?
Dio did 3, and then he did. Then it was Graham Bonnet for an album, and then again, I think it was pretty consistent for 3 more with Jolene Turner. I don't think there was much. I could be wrong, but and then obviously after that, they did one album again in the 90s, and that was it really.
And then you've got, if you want to get really convoluted, you've got like Thin Lizzy with Cozy Powell and Don Airey, haven't you? Cozy Powell did some stuff with...
Cozy Powell and Don Airey.
Cozy Powell has played on about...
Yeah.
I read a fact about how many albums he's played on, or how many bands he's played with, and it's a fucking staggering amount.
Yeah.
He has played on like hair metal albums in the 80s, with like bands... Did he do an album with Poison? Maybe not Poison.
Did he really? Yeah.
I saw somebody like that. I remember reading it and thinking, really?
Yeah.
Or somebody, you really wouldn't think so. But yeah, that guy.
I know he was in Black Sabbath for a bit.
Yeah.
Cozy Powell. But yeah, I mean, it does get a little bit... It does get a little bit silly,
That's what I mean. Do you stop caring, really?
Yeah.
After this gets a bit daft, doesn't it?
And all you're left with is the music, really, and just enjoy that, But you can appreciate someone's playing. Sometimes it's cool, like you listen to a Black Sabbath album, Headless Cross. Is that an album? I can't remember. But you listen to that, and then you go, oh, such and such is on this album. I didn't realise, and then
Tony Martin,
yeah, he was.
Is that the singer?
And Ray Gillan was another one as well. Tony Martin was excellent.
Well, we were listening to that. Me and Rookie were listening to that album in the van in Ireland, because I was sat in the front with Rookie, and he had that album on. Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah,
I think they did a few albums. Tony Martin. I've read Tony Iommi's book as well, and I'm pretty sure he at some point mentions that he wanted to change the band name at a certain point. I think after they did that, so Dio left, and then they did that one album with Ian Gillan, which was just I believe a bit of a disaster. The one with Crusher Jewels, that evil baby,
Born Again,
yeah. And then I think at that point he wanted to change the name, or he didn't want to be Black Sabbath anymore. But again, then the record label get involved because it's like, well, no, you're signed.
Sharon gets involved.
Well, I don't know, but
I'm only saying. Like,
it sells.
I'm just guessing. I don't
sells,
know what I'm talking about.
It sells the tickets, doesn't it? You know that
because
the name sells the tickets. So
they shake it all up, yeah. But I think bands. Some bands just have a real hardcore following, don't they? Like the Status Quos and the AC/DCs and when something happens to those kind of bands, it hurts people, doesn't it? It shocks them, and they're people invest a lot of themselves into music, don't they, in bands? And it's not just the music, is it? It's a lot of other things, a lot of the factors, isn't it?
Have you ever been surprised by watching a band and maybe they were better than you thought, or because the member had left, or
have
you ever seen
seen a band where key members left and they've been better?
Well, maybe not better, but it was good. You enjoyed it.
Well, I never saw UFO with Schenker, but I have seen Schenker, and he was amazing. And I saw UFO with Vinnie Moore, and I'm going to be honest here, right? I remember seeing you're not watching Vinnie. I remember seeing him once, and I wasn't particularly struck, really. I wasn't as impressed. Maybe I'd hyped it up in my head more, and then I wasn't really blown away. But then the second time, which can happen, can't it? I saw him the second time with Vinnie Moore. Maybe I was paying a bit more attention. And
maybe
maybe I was pissed. And he was fucking fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. I blew all my reservations away about it, really, and it was amazing. Yeah, a band I don't know nothing about that got a total lineup change apart from one person who were incredible, and I've seen them a few times. Diamond Head.
Yeah, they came to my mind actually. Yeah,
I don't know. I never saw them back in the day, and I don't really know much about any of the original members, to be honest. I've heard the music, listened to the music. But the only times I've ever seen them have been in the last sort of 5 or 10 years, and they've blown me away. Like, I think they were mega.
Yeah, Tatler's good. Tatler's a good player.
Oh, there you go. He's in Saxon now, isn't he?
Yeah,
he plays in Saxon, doesn't he?
Yeah,
brilliant band.
I don't know. It's such an odd one because, like, I talk to because I'm a sado. So talk to people about this kind of thing. Rookie, our tour manager, big Fish Marillion era fan.
Here we go.
Fish era.
We're hitting the big topics now.
And he will not have it. He'll be like, nah. Marillion finished when Fish left.
Really?
Yeah, he's very.
Now that's unusual, isn't it? That's unusual. I wouldn't have thought that because Rookie's unless he genuinely doesn't dig the music.
Quite an open-minded guy.
That is fair enough.
Well, that's fair enough. I do get that, and it's like it's hard to. A band like Marillion, they chop and change styles, and they've had so many different sounds over the years. It's hard to sort of go, well, they did sound like this, and now they sound like. You can't point to one thing and be like, they sound like this now, because there's a lot of it I'm not into. But to just block your mind off, I could tell when someone's like stubbornly just. I'm not interested. I'm not interested for for kind of other reasons that aren't, objective.
It's just music.
It's just bloody music,
I've got to be honest. They're one of them bands that I've never. I've listened to the odd thing, but I've never really listened to them. I've never given them any time. Maybe I should do really.
But this is the thing. The commercial kind of peak was the Fish stuff. So if you're going to hear a Marillion song on the radio,
what's a massive song? Yeah, I've heard that a million times.
It's going to be Kaylee or Lavender or a Fish song, Market Square Heroes, which I'm going to stick my neck out and say I think he's fucking garbage. I cannot stand that song. Sorry,
I wouldn't.
I'm sorry. I'm not a fan.
To be honest.
But I love the Fish stuff as well. Don't get me wrong. I like all of it. But other bands.
I think it's tough. I think the profile of the band and how much people are invested is what makes the big difference in it. I mean, I suppose a current one is the Wild Arts.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. Well,
they've had a lineup change, a massive lineup change, and some people are on board with it, some people aren't. But they seem to be making a success of going ahead and recording a new album, and they've got a new album coming out, and more dates in Europe and touring. So
people do,
Does the music? A band like the Wild Arts, the music, maybe for a lot of people, shouts louder than sometimes what's going on in the band. I don't know. The music is. I think they're amazing. Like, I love the songs, and maybe people just want to see when you go and watch the songs. And well, Ginger's there playing them, so
that's
a tough one.
That is the thing. If you just make it about the music, and then try to disconnect yourself from the other side of things. But then again, that's not what rock is it? Because it does matter. It does matter that such and such is playing on this album. To certain people, other people.
Well, it does. I think you're right. Rock fans more than any fans invest themselves in. For instance, right, as big as country and western is getting now, and it is across the world, certainly not in this country, do you ever see people walking around in cowboy boots and a cowboy hat? Yeah, you fucking don't, do you? But you'll see people walking around in a denim cut-off or a big long leather jacket, and going and dressing to the extreme because they are prepared to wear their out on their sleeves with their identity. Exactly. You're right, They weren't prepared to stand out in the crowd for the sake of their music, aren't they? That's how invested they are. So it does mean a lot to people, yeah.
But there's honestly, like, when it comes to names, big household names, I mean, bands like Thin Lizzy, I dare say, you could say that Thin Lizzy are going to be playing at the Platform in Morecambe this weekend, and people will just buy tickets and then turn up and be like, that's not what I remember Thin Lizzy looking like. That's not Phil in it.
Yeah.
Because people
blithely only wear his dye.
Yeah, about 40 years ago. But I bet you there would be plenty of people that would just, because they don't care about that. They care about the music.
Yeah.
They see the name, they buy the ticket.
When did he die?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 1986. Brenda. But,
yeah, it's an odd one, isn't it? Yeah.
I bet you that would happen.
It would. I think you're right. Yeah.
But
I think you're right.
I'm not saying that that's wrong, but it's just that there is a consumer out there that doesn't care about this. They just like singing along to the boys are back in town and whiskey in the jar and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then once they've it's not Phil in it, it's some other guy that I don't know, but I like the songs, so I'm gonna stay and enjoy them.
Yeah. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one.
Maybe it's better to be like that, to be honest. I wish I was more like that. I'd probably enjoy life more.
You just enjoy the music. Life is just a crazy circus, isn't it? People die, people leave, people fall out. It's always never going to stop, is it?
No.
Well, the Earth is spinning through space anyway. This is what's going to happen, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, yeah. Maybe there's some people out there that prefer the first incarnation of Massive Wagons, the Barry Fairgrave era, the Rob Chalmers.
It
ended when Rob Chalmers moved to Australia. When
it ended in 2009. That was it. Well, yeah, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are. But like you just said, shit happens in life, doesn't it?
Shit happens. Either get on board, or get off. But don't. It's the mourners, isn't it, that do your head in it, and that comes down to social media again, doesn't it? A lot of it, because you see it a lot more, don't you? Because of social media.
It's a fun thing though. Like I again, because I'm a sado, I like engaging in that debate. With like, why is this better than that, or as long as it's all kind of, and it's music at the end of the day. It's bloody, it's music.
Yeah,
I'm not solving world peace here.
You got to feel for some players or singers that have had big shoes to fill. I mean, that's like Neil Morse was what I was going to say.
Do you mean Steve Morse?
Steve Morse, not Neil Morse.
Who's Neil Morse?
Yeah, Neil Morse is.
I know that name.
Yeah, I do as well. That's somebody else in it, not Neil Morse. Steve Morse.
Yeah, Steve Morse.
We'll come back to that. Steve Morse.
Steve Morse. So yeah, the new boy in Deep Purple.
Yeah, I know.
I know he's gone now, but I mean, he was the new boy, and he'd been in the band for like 25 years.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, some excellent music as well. Like really good albums. Just I actually had a look at the latest set list of the latest Deep Purple tour that they've done. There's barely any. They play Smoke on the Water at the end. That's it, pretty much.
Of all the classics, classic stuff. All the like the old stuff.
Yeah, pretty much everything else is like, there might be one or two older song, but it's not Highway Star, Fireball. It's like
fair play.
Really, yeah.
You got to admire whatever you think of Deep Purple. There's a great example. You got to admire that, don't you? Still at their age, putting out still writing new albums, still pushing new albums. They don't. Well, I don't know. I might be wrong, but I don't know the last time I ever saw a best of Deep Purple plastered all over magazines.
No.
Remastered this and remastered that. Some bands. Jimmy Page. Do you know what I mean? But maybe I'm wrong. But it's just always new material, and some artists are just like that, aren't they? And I appreciate that, whether you like it or not. It's like, no, we're not looking back. We're going forward. We're forward. We're writing new music. It's not about the old stuff. Fair play. Because they could, if they wanted to, they could go out and play all them songs and absolutely clean up, couldn't they? Do you know what I mean? If they could play a full set of, all them songs, Fireway Star and Fireball and.
I think at this point though, they're not
Space
doing
Trucking and all that.
They're not doing it for the money, are they?
No, they're not.
They're doing it because they like it. They're doing it because they're musicians, and it doesn't matter if you're in your bloody 20s or your 70s. They want to go out and just play. And they're excited about new music, so that's what they're going to play. I agree. And you know what? There's a bit of me. I'd rather hear that. I've seen Deep Purple quite a few times over the last 20 years, and I more and more look forward to hearing the new stuff. I don't want to hear I don't want to hear Highway Star again. It's like I'd rather hear some of the newest stuff. So I could be in the minority there. I don't know. But they're selling arenas out all over the world still, so fair play.
They're doing something right, aren't they?
They're doing summit.
Your Brendas right. Of the world. She wouldn't be happy though, would she? She'd want to hear Fireball and bloody all that, wouldn't she?
Poor Brenda. Yeah. She just wants Smoke on the Water 20 times.
Yeah.
Now that is a song I could never hear again and be glad about it.
Well, all right then. If you had to listen to either Smoke on the Water or
All Right Now.
All Right Now. Did you know I was going to say
Is that what you're going to say?
I was going to say Smoke on the Water, All Right Now, or what's the one by
Ray Darlow.
Ray Darlow. I freaking knew what I was going to say.
I know what you're going to say.
If you had to listen to one of them on repeat for the rest all eternity, which one would it be?
Do you know what? Of them, it probably would be Smoke on the Water. Actually,
you'd rather listen to Smoke on the Water than All Right Now and.
Well, All Right Now, there will be just a kind of an irony to it, All right now, baby. It's obviously not all right.
Can you fucking imagine?
No, I mean, but even Radar Love. I think I developed the dislike for Radar Love because every band that we used to go and watch in a pub or whatever, they'd always play it.
It used to be the same for me with Mustang Sally.
Yeah. Oh, Mustang Sally.
Oh, God. It's awful, isn't
Garbage.
It's an awful song.
It's the most, ironically.
Mustang Sally.
Ironically, it's like the whitest song in the world, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like the guy that thinks he likes rock music because he likes Meatloaf.
Oh, I like this one. That's one of my favourites.
Yes, I like a bit of Meatloaf. I'm into my rock and roll.
Mustang Sally!
Oh, Mustang Sally.
It's dreadful, isn't it? Yeah.
Gash.
Fucking gash.
It's gash. I don't even know who wrote it. I don't even know who wrote Mustang Sally. It's like an Eric Clapton. He's a bit of a knob anyway, and Eric Clapton, so... I don't mind slagging it off, but it's like that. It's like that version of the blues, where it's just like I'm not a fan. No,
it's weak, innit?
Well, there's just no edge to it. You're rock and roll when your nickname is Slowhand. I'm on a Clapton bashing session. I'm sorry.
Oh dear.
But
I don't know who wrote Mustang Sally. Somebody will know.
Mustang Sally. I'm going to Google it. Mustang Sally.
While you're at it, Google who the fuck is Neil Morse.
Neil Morse.
Neil Morse.
Is he not the? Is he not an actor?
No.
Neil Morse.
I think he's a musician, isn't he?
Neil Morse is an American singer and musician. Spock's beard. Neil Morse.
I wouldn't have got in a billion bloody years.
What was the other thing I was Googling?
Mustang Sally. Who wrote Mustang Sally? What was that? Made a bloody pound or two.
Wilson Pickett.
See,
the original was.
It's probably great. Do you know what? I bet I could listen to the original. I'd probably like dig it.
Exactly.
It's the butchery of the song.
I don't think I've ever heard the original. I always hear that kind of. It's almost like it's obviously like an 80s or 90s. Got some awful like programmed drum beat. And it's like karaoke. It's like a karaoke version.
It's Bay Radio, isn't it?
Phoenix Night. Yeah, it's exactly. It's
Bay
Radio.
Bay Radio round here. It's not going anymore. Thank God. Oh, the tagline was 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. Here's another fucking Motown classic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fucking hell. And it's the Bay Radio is responsible for my hatred of Motown music.
Motown.
Oh, I hate it. It's all they ever played, sitting on the back dock of the Bay.
The Searchers.
Oh, my God. Over
Not
and
the
over
Searchers.
again.
The Drifters.
The Drifters.
Actually, there's some good songs.
It's
you know
amazing
what
music. I just can't. It's just what just can't
I mean?
stand
Again, though, it's like smooth radio is another one. I've got to be careful now because we're starting to bash current things.
They're never gonna fucking play us. I've tried to get bar songs on smooth.
Smooth. Can you imagine?
I thought Please Stay Calm might be alright.
Yeah, maybe it's got maybe a little bit too edgy in it. You know, it doesn't sound anything like Diana Ross, so we're not going to, or Lionel Richie, so we're not in with a chance, are we?
No.
But yeah, like there's just these songs that you hear on. Drifted way off topic here, sorry. You know, there's that certain like the Bay. You always got like what's the song? Oh my God, I can't remember it. First I was afraid, I was petrified.
You're thinking how am I going to live without you by my side?
I will survive. You know, that kind of stuff. You know, it's like you can almost guarantee within the next 10 minutes you're going to hear something with Barry Gibb singing on it.
James Brown, yeah, Mustang Sally, yeah. That one. Oh yeah.
Islands
that
in
one.
the stream.
Oh.
You know, and I like Kenny Rogers and Dolly, but it's just like, come on. Yeah, it's just so safe. It's so safe.
It is.
Anyway, back to the point.
Let's get annoyed there. Bit of radio. It's not Beyond Radio round here. Beyond Radio's good. Beyond
Radio is good.
Great.
Yeah, don't get us wrong. Beyond Radio
is the new incarnation, new people.
Yeah, they play new and old.
And
stuff,
they play great music as well.
Yeah.
I don't work for them or anything. I'll get them on the payroll. They play like 90s stuff. It's good. They play all sorts.
I heard Stereophonics the other day on Beyond.
On Beyond, there you go.
Like an early Stereophonics song. They play this kind of song that you think like, God, I've not heard this in ages. This is banging.
Yeah. It's a proper station, isn't it, on FM as well. And they play a lot of local stuff, don't they? Loads of local artists and that. It's brilliant.
I was listening to Radio 2 last night on the way through here.
What's happened, has it?
And it was Joe Wiley's Shiny Happy playlist.
Jesus
and
Christ.
she played Local Boy in the Photograph.
Did you?
On her Shiny Happy playlist. It's about the most depressing song. I like it, but it's about the most depressing song I've
ever. Have you ever listened to it, Joe? Joe Wiley. Fucking hell.
Yeah,
I think started on her.
Was she the one who said she doesn't like guitar?
Yeah. It's like she likes whatever suits at the time. It seems to me, whatever's cool, whatever cool person is in her sort of presence, she'll say she likes it. I remember her saying, I remember saying on Radio 1 that she didn't like guitar solos or she hated all that. I think she makes some reference to Deep Purple or some solos or heavy metal or 70s rock. And then on the next few months when everybody's listening to 70s rock, it's like back in the 70s when it was all great and all that. It's like, get fucked.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, it's a bit.
Cock at your ass. Fuck off. She never fucking play us anyway. She fuck right care.
What if bang average middle of the road rock is in? You know.
Yeah.
Well, then now we've got no chance.
We've got this band here. Don't know who the fuck they are. Let's play some of them.
Fantastic.
Hey?
Oh dear. Well, yeah. Well, I think we've exhausted our examples.
It's time for a brew, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we'll get a brew.
We've covered it anyway. We've covered it. Let us know what you think. When does a band stop becoming a band? Are you bothered? Does it bother you? Does it bother who's left? Or is it down to the character? Is it down to the talent? Do the songs prevail? You know, does it matter as long as there's one original member? Are you happy to go and see them and support them and listen to the songs? Let us know some bands that you think have let you down over the years, or bands you think have improved. You know, by the addition of other band members or what, you know.
Or the loss of a band member.
Or the loss of a band member, you know. It's, again, you know, I don't understand the hatred for bands when somebody dies. What do? Just go, Angus and Malcolm just go, well, that's the end of that then. Bond's dead. Let's fucking go. I'm going to get a job in a factory. You just wouldn't do it, would you? Would you do it? You wouldn't do it, would you? No.
And would it matter if they changed the name as well? Like, because I know there's that whole thing where it's like, well, don't mind. They should have changed the name though.
I mean, the thing that gets me is the AC/DC thing. Oh, they died with Bond's era, and I agree, Bond era stuff is fucking incredible. Like, but they carried on and arguably, well, not arguably, they exploded. Yeah. You know, they became 10 times the size of band, really.
Yeah, I mean, and it all happened quickly as well.
Which is strange, which is a strange, unexplainable thing. Maybe it'd be good to look at that, really. How that happened, why that happened.
Yeah.
let us know your thoughts on this, because everyone has an opinion. So everyone has an opinion on this, don't they? So let us know, and join us in the future for the next podcast.
Mustang Sally now, baby. Guess you better